Live, so thinking. Yes, we are live. Hey, Donna, welcome
Hello, how are
to.
you?
Oh, good, oh, good. So we are live on quite a number of places: Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it. We are there.
Wow.
We defeated technology. As usual, it's always a test. So, Donna, I really appreciate you accepting my invitation. We met a couple of years back. We were doing some group coaching at the local library, so we had a good fun at the time.
We did. It was a good course.
But I was really impressed by your ability to communicate, to share. You're an open book, and you went through quite a lot of challenges. I remember in those days, you were doing quite a lot of tests, and then we celebrated. You were cancer-free in those days, and then we stayed in touch. So many things,
Yes,
really.
you've been a sweetheart.
Yeah, and so I thought, yeah, I think you're a very, very good person to share, and probably resonate. Your experience will resonate with many of other people in both a professional and personal life. So, incidentally, what happened? There was a big article in on the BBC News the other day. So we just put some couple of sound bites because I think that they are quite interesting. So the first one is chronic pain. There's a definition.
Yep.
As anything, there's always a label, a definition. But what it says from a medical perspective is a persistent pain that lasts more than 3 months, despite medication or any form of treatment. So
Yep.
3 months seems to be a kind of line in the sand. If we go beyond the 3 months, it is quite serious.
Yep.
Some of the words of people suffering from chronic pain is to say simply relentless, unbearable, overwhelming. It says it all. I don't think we need to do any comment on that one. And also to say it can be caused by, yes, a physical problem. Mentioned an accident, a slip disc. But sometimes there's also no real clean cut. There's not really clear cause.
No, sometimes not.
And they said I call it just a primary pain because they don't know exactly what the root cause is. But the impact is massive. It can destroy careers, can break up a relationship, steal independence, ... I think the list goes on and on. And the last bit that was really staggering for me is there's the pain specialist. They warn the health system is not set up to deal with such complexity. The conditions are so complex that treatments are far behind from decades from science, and leaving millions of patients without support. They say that 1 in 4 in the UK suffers from chronic pain. So there are millions of people out there just in the UK that are not in a good place. So that was the article from BBC. I wanted just to put it out there for our audience in terms of definition, impact, and the scale of the problem. But what I wanted to talk to you really and share your personal experience. We can read books and articles, but at the end of the day,
it's not quite the same.
It's not quite the same.
No, you can't relate if it's written by a medical professional. It doesn't really translate into normal everyday life.
Yeah. So Donna, let's first a little bit, if you can share your experience in terms of chronic pain, and then the second part of the conversation we will look at ways to cope. Again, from your experience with such a challenge. So, Donna, what's your experience in this space? Where to start?
Hit me upside down and I rattle. Okay, I worked as a brain injury rehab assistant when I was 22, and I injured my back, but they didn't really know how. But I was off work. I was early retired, medically retired to 22. I just bought my flat, so it was really hard. Couldn't move. Yeah, it was awful. So had that. I still have opioids now to take that. So that was 2000, and then 2020 I had lung cancer. Never smoked. Luckily enough, it was caught early, so it was a fairly quick operation, but it still causes issues to a certain degree now. And then the fun of fibromyalgia was done last year. So,
Last year, that's that.
Yay! It was only diagnosed last year, but I think it's probably been on the cards for a few years. And most people that have fibro will tell you it's on the cards, and you hurt, but telling people you hurt is a different matter entirely. And because you hurt in different places, you just sound really quite weird. My feet hurt today, but it might be my arms hurt tomorrow or later today, or so you sound really random because different parts of you hurt.
So you mentioned that it started in 2000, so 22 years on.
Yay! Yeah, I'm now 43, so half my life I've been in pain. That's a lovely record to have.
I think, but it didn't break your spirit, by the fact that you're here today and willing to share. It shows really that you are a fighter without any doubt. So how do you fight? How do you get up in the morning? How do you go through your day with those random but constant pain?
Yeah, I mean, in the early days, especially in 2000, nothing was ever granted. So you just felt it was in your head. And even to you, when I met you a couple of years ago, I still said to you that I felt like the pain was in my head. And it was only relatively recently was it actually diagnosed that I had actually fractured my spine in 5 places. So that's why it hurts. As for fibro, it does cause a lot of foggy head pain and foggy, remembering words, which is not that great in a job that you're supposed to be, in good contact and doing lots of work with people. So for me, pain-wise, I try and manage it by telling my company what the matter is and doing occupational health visits and getting their assessments, which is always important. For me, and managing by taking tablets, having breaks like every hour, just being able to walk away from something for 10 minutes to clear your head. And actually, I think it's good for anyone. Just to clear your head. I don't think you should sit at a desk for hours upon end. I work with special needs adults and I get them into work. So my job can be, as other colleagues will tell you, quite intense and quite busy. So just being able to get that brain space away for 10 minutes just to reconfigure your head, especially if you've got lots of customers all at the same time. Being able to try and go out for lunch or even just go for a walk for lunch and walk out and just sit in your car and have a sing-song, do something not work related. Getting home, I would say I try and break down household tasks into sort of 10-minute intervals because my actual capabilities now are not as great. Like I used to be able to walk for miles and I can't do that anymore, which I find really hard. So pushing yourself to walk a little bit further and then maybe going for a coffee or taking a book and sitting on the beach or something. Breaking activities down here so that, you clean one space and then have a break. You do one thing and then go and call a friend, so you break down tasks. And if it's a really bad day, you just have to listen to your body. And that's the biggest learning, is actually just listen and think, right, okay, what does my body really tell me today? Like how much energy and how much can I push it today? Because believe me, I've pushed it, and doctors have told me, no, if you push it too much, Donna, you really will hurt. I'm like, it can't be that bad. The last time I pushed it was just after Christmas, and I had a massive flare where the cartilage in my rib cage became inflamed, of all places to become inflamed. And it was hard to breathe. I couldn't move my arms. I couldn't stand up. And living on your own doing that was quite entertaining. And that lasted 6 weeks. But I've also pushed it, going further, walking further, thinking you're going to get fitter, doing stuff. And actually your body just collapses and you end up tripping over things because your brain and your legs just don't correspond.
They don't. They stop talking. They stop.
Yeah,
they're not linked anymore.
Yeah, please be gentle with fibro people, because we want to do more. As I will tell you, Max, my head is more capable than my body, and that really drives me slightly doolally.
Yeah, as it happens, yesterday morning I was in the gym. I went to the swim. I love to go swimming, and there's a small, very very small sauna, like 3 people. It's a box. You do interesting conversation. There was one guy with fibro. It happens. And he was talking about parking space and disabled badges.
Yeah.
And finding that place occupied by someone that shouldn't, it is such a big deal.
Crackers, because you don't actually think about it. But yeah, no, I mean, I've just got a blue badge, and to be fair, I have been queried a couple of times why I've got it.
That's exactly what this person.
So bad that I have to explain myself to someone.
Yeah.
Without being rude, and just saying, actually, I have got it. And yes, there's photo on the back, but why should I show someone? I don't think I need to. I understand why people think I haven't got anything. If you actually physically look at me, there's nothing wrong with me. But
it's beyond what you see. You cannot guess.
A bit small, having to say to someone, actually, I have got it and it is me. But also blue badge. I mean, to be fair, a blue badge isn't anything. If you're queuing, for me, standing up for more than 15, 20 minutes, as in standing, I begin to hurt. And a classic thing was I went to the big shopping centre the other week, and I had to look around a few shops, and I then began to feel really hot and really sick and faint. And I know if that kicks in, I really do hurt, and I really need to go and take tablets, go and sit down. But if I take tablets without eating, I generally make myself feel very sick, because they're opioids, so they're quite so there's nowhere that you can say, actually, can I jump the queue, or I feel ill, or can I, you just have to stand in the queue and wait for someone to notice you. So apart from having a blue badge, you really haven't got any more good things, if you know what I mean. Whereas I think there needs somewhere you can say to someone, actually, I can't stand in this queue, or I can't do blah, blah, blah. They were really good. I was actually in John Lewis, and the queue was 30 people long. I was like, I really can't do this. I really feel like I'm going to faint. I really can't do this. And luckily enough, there was a member of staff handing out trays. And I was very, very self-consciously said to him, is there a shorter queue just for tea instead of hot food and blah, blah, blah? And he's like, no, I'm really sorry. He said the queue will take you about half an hour. I was just like, oh no.
Unbearable.
Yeah, and it is the route through my back is just I can't explain the pain. It is so intense. And I just said to him, I'm really sorry, but I actually feel like I'm going to faint. I'm in so much pain. I really can't do this. And for me to say that to someone I don't know is just brave, I suppose. And he was like, okay, that's fine. He said, stay with me. I'll go and get my manager. And the wait for about the 5 minutes was just like, oh God, I'm going to die. But anyway, he came up and he was like, look, we don't normally do table service, but actually you really don't look very well, and we will go and do table service for you today. And that was such a relief to be able to, for someone to acknowledge that I did hurt and I did need some support.
Yeah.
They were really, really good, really, really good. But that going and doing that to someone else, it actually is really hard.
It is. So especially, as we mentioned from the article that that was on the BBC the other day, they say 1 out in 4 is suffering. It's not the exception. It is extremely high. So,
and their self-esteem, their lifestyle, the way they view the world, their body consciousness, everything is affected. And that is extraordinary. It's 1 in 4 that they allow that to happen.
But it's also extraordinary the shift that happened during the experience, because you started from a moment of almost of despair. I'm going to faint. I'm going to be sick in the public space, and then there is is something it's a situation that gets out of control, and then because someone just give you the acknowledgement and lend you a hand, and then
you feel really stupid, you know.
But it changed your perception.
It's not English to make a fuss. Well, for me to make a fuss, I will support someone else, but actually for me to acknowledge that I need help is not very often, especially in that environment.
So, but once you were recognized, you got support.
Yeah, no, they were really good.
It felt really good. So that was.
They sat me down within 30 seconds and was like, "It's fine. We'll go and get you a cup of tea. We'll go and get you some water. It's absolutely fine. Stay here. Yeah, we'll find you a comfortable seat." Because obviously, if you know most cafe seats and that kind of thing are wooden seats and not the most comfortable with a back injury and fibro. So to be able to say to them, I really hurt, and them to find a comfortable seat. And yes, I did feel like I was making a fuss, but actually, in the grand scheme of things, I actually then felt normal and was able to, actually physically carry on. But they were really good, John Lewis, the other week. But there needs to be some way of, I don't know, in a queue or something, because if you only have a blue badge, you only get a parking space. I don't know how that would work, but yeah.
Still, if it is, at the end of this is a good story. At the end, it's still not good enough, because it was managed as an exception. You had the individual that had to really look around and try to figure out what to do, when instead it should be part of policies, procedures, and just a normal support you get in a shop, especially at that size. We are talking about major.
Queuing up in Tesco's. What do? You leave your shopping. I have done that before. You walk around Tesco's and think, actually, I can't do this, and then you wait in a queue to go to the supermarket or whatever it is, whatever environment it is. That's a really hard decision. Or you force yourself, and then for the next 3 hours all you're going to be doing is laying on the couch because you really can't move, and that's not a good life. And it rolls over to the next day. You can't sleep that night because you pushed it too hard, and it could only be standing in a queue to pay for something. Sometimes it isn't that big a deal, and it doesn't look that big a deal to someone else.
So it is actually. I like the conversation that it didn't go as I expected. I thought, no, sorry. This is very good, because what we are raising here is a general awareness.
Yes.
For a very general condition that
Yes.
affects really so many people, and it should be. It's a call for a culture of solidarity. Yeah. Not of inquiring a Spanish Inquisition. Why do you have a blue badge? That is the things that make things.
Your blue badge is in your car. It isn't on you. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing for you to say, to do, to whatever. And some of you, I mean, it's taken me 20 years to get a blue badge. So it's not just about a blue badge. It is life in general, I suppose.
So it takes.
I'm really sorry. I always change the course of the conversation.
No, but this is the beauty of doing live conversation. So we don't have a fixed pattern. No, you just start with the plan in your head, but then as usual, actually we go at the core. That's why we are doing these kind of things. We go at the core of the issues as you feel them. So if I try to unpack, because we touch so many things in here, because you started with the discipline, breaking down, up tasks, your time management. There's so many things just to get your self-management energy level just enough to perform your tasks.
Yes.
And I think you're really brave, because you don't have just a normal operation jobs and the easy one. You mentioned you work with special needs people.
Yes.
So
I'm an employment support specialist. I've always chosen really hard jobs, and I think with fibro, that's harder still. But yes, I support people with many disabilities to go into employment, and they choose their employment, and as long as they are seen by social services and recommended to the company that I work for, that's what we do. So yes, it means that I'm not sitting at a desk all day. It does mean that I'm standing up, taking customers for interviews, getting them to learn how to go on a bus route, on a train, walk to a certain destination, how to actually do a job. So I would stand and do that for them, with them, show them, support them. So that's not easy when you hurt yourself. And of course, you don't show. I try not to show another person, especially a person I work for, so said, that I have a disability as well. So it's trying to keep. I'm like Miss Marple. In my handbag, I have a juice box. Don't drink orange with tablets, but an apple juice or something in my oral, because I find water too heavy to carry. So a juice box is lighter, and you can throw it away at the end of the day. And it's not plastic, so that's, I suppose, always good.
Has to be sustainable.
Yeah.
About everything, on the top of everything.
And then I take like a biscuit bar or something, because obviously a piece of fruit in your handbag doesn't really go. So, a biscuit or something, so that I can take something and have tablets. And I also take like ibuprofen or something in between. So if it's really bad and the opioids last 4 hours and they start to wear off in 2, I can top it up.
So it seems you got like 2 brains. One is the self-management, because you needed to keep an eye on all these small but very key things while you're working. On the other side, you want to protect and shield your customers.
Yes.
From your internal self-management engine, and in order for not transferring any of your concerns. So I think this is an incredible skills probably you developed over time.
I really thought about it that way, actually.
But it is actually draining, because you needed to multitask. But also
I get home and think I can't cook dinner. I often get told off for having cereal when I get home, or a piece of toast, because I just haven't got the power, the body power when I get home to be like, okay, like I've got to cook dinner and I've got to wash up and I've got so that's the impact it has personally on me.
But also, I'm thinking about this and one more impact. You're very courageous, and clearly you will do an incredible service to your customers because you come from a place of understanding or compassion. You know what they're going through to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And that is clearly an added value that you give it to your to your customers. But there's also, I'm doing another series talking about feelings. With another coach of mine, we're talking about vibration because when we have strong feelings for our own situation, but also as a transfer from other people, our body vibrates. Feelings are so strong that we go vibrations, clearly in the guts or other places. So I think that probably working with special needs, that they will have an impact, not just a psychological, but on your body as well, because you get those situations and those feelings coming over to you, and so your body is really. It's really under pressure from so many sides.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where I'm at the moment, is I'm actually beginning to realize that I need to my brain chatter is an awful lot. So I'm beginning to realize actually I need to calm down the brain chatter, because that doesn't do me any good, and that actually makes the fibro far worse. So it's the brain chatter that I need to calm down at, which is what I was saying to you about speaking to you a bit more, because it's the brain chatter and the pent up emotions about pain and about my belief of what other people would think of me, like querying why I need a blue badge, querying why I need to jump a queue, querying why I go quiet when I'm hurting and I don't want to talk to anyone. Or I cancel an appointment when I go out with friends, or I have to change an appointment with a customer and I have to say, just for another day, so that I know that I can't do whatever that is that's easier for that day. It doesn't happen very often, but the brain chatter in fibro is awful for me anyway. And I think that is just, you want to give 110% to everything, and actually you can't do it that way.
So there's an element that you want to feel alive, you want to carry on your life.
And there's activities I want to do, and I personally want to achieve. And
I think you're doing very well.
I am much like that. There's things that I want to achieve, I want to do for myself. But with fibro at the moment, whether that's achievable, and that's really hard.
There's walking a fine line, a really fine line.
You feel like you have to swallow an awful lot when actually swallowing it, it comes out in pain with me. So if I get worried, I hurt. If I get worried about finances, I hurt. If it rains, I hurt more. If a bill comes in, I hurt more. So it is obviously, although fibro is there is obviously some kind of connection to you worrying about things to making things worse. And that's why a lot of people say that fibro is in your head. It kind of is, because there is more worry. The more you worry, or
there's a mental health impact, because it's overwhelmed.
But I started doing some research to find out, because I actually have been told that fibro is in my head, and to me that was like, and that was even by like professionals, and I was like, well, what does that mean? And actually what I've realized is it's the nerve functions in your head. Some people have got higher levels of coping pain than others, and if you are more sensitive, which I suppose I am, I always have been, it can, when you get fibro, it means that your pain threshold is lower.
Yeah.
But so to me, like right now, my feet are really burning. They're really hot. They feel like they are on fire. Got pins and needles. Yeah, and I've got pains in my legs. But that's quite a normal day, and just swallowing that. And when people say, I've had such a bad day, I've had such an awful headache, oh, I'm so sympathetic. And I am genuinely sympathetic, but if I complained every day about how much I hurt, people would soon get really.
Yeah, I think it's a very personal thing, but it's almost impossible to understand. You know, I was just
and that's what
listening.
It just makes you sound like you're crazy.
Yeah, no, but I was complaining because I went to the physio 3 times. You know, it's that kind of things. But for me, what was also very striking is the ability to ask for help. Because I heard that there's a lot of pride in that you know, said I'm English. there was a bit of pride in that. So, you know, soldiering on and keep going in spite.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and just to do things without complaining. But when is the moment, do you think, there need to be a balance and that quality to be a little bit dialed down and being open and asking for more help? That is another fine line to walk. What is your view as you are right now in your ability to asking for help?
Not that great, and very much like what people may think if you say it, and making a fuss and what you say. I think I only tend to do it is if I just feel like I am going to faint, throw up, and you know, I mean, if you're with someone else who knows you really well and they can put in the steps for you and just kind of, it's all right, you know, I've got you, you're all right. That kind of makes life so much easier. So if you are dating someone or married to someone with chronic pain, I know sometimes we can probably be a bit grumpy when pain hurts. And it can't be kind on the other side. You know, me telling someone else that I hurt or I have this when I started dating has been a whole different ball game. And it is really horrible. It's really horrible from the other side. But if you go to a pain clinic, which I've done at the hospitals, their process is like walk one more stop from the bus stop or spend 5 more minutes out in the garden, and you just think, no, I wanted to travel to Australia. I want to do whatever you want to do. But it's so limiting that I found that
get on a wheelchair.
I found it really
in my sauna.
It really affected my confidence, my self-esteem.
Yeah.
Because actually, you know, don't limit my dreams just because I have this. I know my dreams are limiting, but I think I have to put in plans to make sure that if I'm working towards something, they're smaller steps, or they're a slightly different way, or there might be a few more tears, and maybe a few more pushes.
Don't shut down.
Yeah, as you know, I attended your session 3 weeks after my cancer operation, and I was not in the best of. I probably looked quite ill.
But not actually. One thing is how you feel. The other is how you are perceived by others. You always
I
came
was
in with
terrified that other people would see me as,
no. You actually showed up with an incredible energy and tuned into the group. So you have that quality of empathy and connections, and then sharing as a second stage your personal life. So that
but it
is
took,
very brave.
I think it took about a week of my mum and my sister going, you can go, you can go, you'll be okay. And it was what, 2 hours once a week? And you think,
Yeah, an
so
hour and a half. Yeah, but
to
that's
have
chit
that much
chat.
pushing to go, it really does take, so I hats off to people to try something new.
Yeah, definitely. So that's also there's you're very courageous, but you have a quality
Oh,
of
bless you.
smiling and humor. You got a great sense of humor
I
in
laugh
spite
at
of.
my own jokes.
I know, but it's a great quality.
Oh, bless you. You are
So
such a good.
how is your sense of humor working with your pain? Yeah, do you still activate? Are you still able to activate the part of your
I
of
think with
yourself?
pain, I find that there is very big puddles, I would call them, of depression.
Puddles.
And so you dip in and out of them, or you try and scoot round them. And anxiety ways of, can I go somewhere and will it be okay? And so I always carry painkillers. I always carry juice in my, and you think, oh, I shouldn't really have to do this. Or, when I meet up with a group of friends, what happens if I hurt? What happens if? So there's a lot of what ifs in my head. Most of what ifs don't happen, to be fair. But I think that's more pain led, and I would like to be a little bit freer of all that. But whether that's possible with pain, I don't know. I think that having what ifs and putting measures in, like, I now got a stick that collapses into a stool. So if you're waiting too long, you can collapse into a stool. But I feel quite old carrying it, walking with it. But at least when I walk by the sea, I can do it and go to my own pace and do it that way. But it's silly things like that, or waiting in line at a chemist because there's only one person. So if you're waiting 20 minutes, you're like, oh, we can't wait anymore.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes. It would deplete you from all the energies you got in the moment.
I can't do this anymore. So actually just pulling that out and sitting, most people would actually laugh and be like, oh, well, that's a good idea, without being like, oh, well, that's a bit stupid. Why would you do that?
So I think the invitation that we're doing here for our audience is, and we needed to increase our awareness as a public in general and look around us. Is anybody that needs help? Are you okay? Just asking that simple question to someone.
Sometimes that's all you need is a smile and, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, I hear you. Sometimes is, or, would you like to go in front of me and jump one person? You think, oh, at least someone's heard me, understood me. That is.
So that is the simplest, but we can all make an impact on someone's life in the moment.
Make a massive difference.
Massive difference.
Yeah.
And the second bit is, if you can leave us with a dream of yours. What do you dream of, Donna? What would you like to do? What would give you immense pleasure?
Well, my biggest dream at the time when I first spoke to you was to move to my new house.
I remember that.
Yes. I never thought that would be achievable, but as you can tell by my background, I've done it. So we are very happy that we're in, and that we're, me and my cat are settled. We're all okay. We're settling into our new environment. So I think for me, that would be to continue, possibly go traveling As I've said to you, I always like your native country. I've been there once. I went there by myself, and that was amazing. I went to Florence by myself, and that was amazing. I never thought I'd be able to do that. So go and see a few more places. Date maybe. Fostering possibly. That's the other thing I'm looking into at the moment. And that's a bit daunting to see whether that is possible with pain thresholds and working and earning money and everything else. I think that's hard going on anyone's point of view, but especially I just feel like I have either a lot of black marks against me, or there's a lot of Everests to climb. And it's the Everests, and I put it on an S because I feel like I've had to climb several of them to get where I am now.
A string of Himalayas and peaks.
I don't like the cold, so don't put me there. Don't fly me there. That would be awful. I would.
All right. Okay. So we headed for the beach. It's great.
Don't put me anywhere cold or find a Yeti. That's definitely not happening.
I really love to hear. I'm going to ask you for one dream. You gave me 4 or 5 big ones. More just your housing, traveling. But you also say, I want to look for a partner. I want to have looking after kids. You want it all.
Yeah.
So my invitation for you as a coach is to work on your asking for help and support. Just because what I see when people know what you want to do, your dreams and your challenges, then people will everybody will step up to help you. And remember that you are helping others by sharing your stories with your.
I hope so.
With your spirit, you're really inspiring others. So it's a give and take in the process. So more of that, Donna, for you.
You are a sweetheart.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
I will ask for help from you because you know that.
Sure, I'm here. You got the link to my
absolute sweet. You have been one of those people that's actually made me see more stuff in me that I hadn't seen, and that's really good. I think you get so determined to do something that you actually don't realize that you're achieving something as you go along. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does, and then that empowers you to do more and to do something that is close to your heart.
The right job, my darling.
Thank you. You encouraged me to do more. Actually, this is a reminder. I commit to go back to the library because after COVID and everything, and I will start again sessions at our local West Barnes Library.
Yes, that was amazing. Those sessions were so good, and to give your time and your dedication, your wife's biscuits probably.
Let's not go there. I'm very protective. I'm not into cake sharing.
But just your inspiration and your knowledge has been really good, sweet.
So thank you. I really appreciate it, Donna. So we are coming to a conclusion. I will write a couple of notes because being a really journey into self-management, discipline, listen to your body, public awareness, your sensitivity about being self-conscious, asking for help, and experience with the health service. But then at the end, I really like the projection. I don't want to give up on my dreams. That I really want to achieve them all. Even if that is difficult, don't shut me down. I'm here, and I will show you.
And that's really important. It's really important for others to hear that. Really important for professionals to hear it. I said to my doctor the other day that I felt like I was pulling myself through tar, and she laughed at me and said, "Do you not mean syrup?" And I got out the car, got into the car, drove home, and I was like, no, I really do mean tar. Syrup is quite nice. At least you can eat it as you go along. Tar doesn't smell very nice and it sets far harder. So, yes. So to me, that's how life can be when you're got a injury that people don't see. It's the same with people that have disability that can be seen, maybe, from people that I work with. But just be gentle. Be gentle with you, and be gentle with members of the public, to be gentle with other people. And it'll be an
Be
amazing
gentle.
environment.
Be gentle. Thank you, Donna. Let's see if we have a no. We stay actually very, very well on course. Thank you for being an open book and sharing everything. And let's take you offline if we have a more space to do this conversation involving more people and creating even more awareness. So stay online. I'm going to close the live broadcast. So stay there. Don't go anywhere. And thank you to our audience for listening.
Take care.
Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.